And so it goes. Beautiful last line there on stage from Peter, Paul, and Mommy 2, a public television PBS special from 1992. And through to this special, 50 years of a career. Fred Nahat here in the studio along with Dan Alpert and our own crew from Bank of America, Merrill Lynch, U.S. Trust, taking your phone calls and pledges. Guys, don't wait. This is the moment for you to act upwardly, to make a pledge of support, and don't let it pass you by, because here in these excerpted portions of our presentation are those very powerful opportunities for you to make a pledge, and if you don't do it, it passes you by. Don't let that happen. We have great ways to say thank you, not the least of which is a copy of the film for your very own, plus bonus footage, more video, more songs that you're enjoying in this, what we call a performance documentary, 50 years with Peter, Paul, and Mary, the $120 giving level and above, all for public television, as the sponsorship is on from Bank of America, Merrill Lynch. So do that right now. We also have a special CD, road music from Peter, Paul, and Mary. This is at the $72 giving level and above. A lot of great songs from over the years, presented in a little bit of a different live sort of roadhouse style, and it's our way of saying thanks at 72. Or both, 156 is our suggestion to you as you make the pledge. Or if you want the chronicle of the trio that changed folk music and maybe a nation, we're going to throw in Peter, Paul, and Mary, 50 years in music and in life, kind of the hard cover version. The picture book, the coffee table book version of this career, well spent and lives well lived. Again, don't let this moment pass you by. Call or go online at dptv.org.
It's a big night here at Detroit Public Television. It is Bank of America Merrill Lynch night, and the folks from Bank of America, Merrill Lynch, and U.S. Trust are on the phones answering them, taking your pledges, and making their own contributions in support of Detroit Public Television. The variety of programming that we present to you is made possible by this whole combination of support from public-spirited companies, from foundations, from individuals like you calling in. A little bit of government support. How much? 10% of our budget comes from the government. Other than that, it's up to you and me, folks. We are the ones who keep public television going. And so we certainly thank Merrill Lynch and Bank of America and U.S. Trust when they put up the dollars and encourage you to do what they're doing and make contributions, and even volunteer. We rely on volunteers throughout the year, but on these very special nights, these 3 nights of Bank of America Merrill Lynch sponsorship, we're especially honored to have folks from those institutions, from those financial institutions centered right here in the Detroit area, coming to the studios of Detroit Public Television. And they, like we, are encouraging you to make a support. If it's a pledge of support at the $120 level, it can be 50 years with Peter, Paul, and Mary. If I had a hammer, blowing in the wind, early morning rain, 500 miles, if I had my way, Puff the Magic Dragon. You know, if you tuned in during the program and you missed some of the earlier pieces, you'll have it all for yourself as our thank you gift. $10 ongoing monthly if you want to do it that way, but call now.
Of course, we really want you to consider making the contribution of support at the package level that includes this terrific book and the images from the photographers inside at the $180 giving level and above. Peter, Paul, and Mary, 50 years in music and in life. Well, you look at that. You know, if only you could turn back time. But you know, we can't. None of us can. And maybe the closest thing to being able to do that is music. And public television specializes in that. And another way to turn back time is documentary film and works of this nature that go over life. And when you hear the music, you know, those receptors of memory and thought and what it provokes in you, music is about the closest you can get to turning back time, and this is a special one. So don't let this opportunity pass you by. Turn back time with us. And more than that, preserve this music for history, preserve this legacy, preserve these kinds of specials. Make sure there's somewhere in your community that is a library, a museum of the airwaves, and one that lives among all of us and inside each one of us when you make a pledge. Do that at 180. Consider doing that very special thing tonight for public TV while the sponsorship is on. Another special group, another special night from Bank of America, Merrill Lynch.
Detroit Public TV is your source for the programming you enjoy most. Outstanding shows that educate, entertain, and inspire, that are made possible by your support. Show you support Detroit Public TV and become a member today. Giving is easy. Simply dial the number on your screen or go online to dptv.org. Thank you.
Well, one of the great things about these Bank of America Merrill Lynch nights, 4 years now, is we get to welcome back old friends and meet new friends. And I've got a new friend tonight. This is John Gallia. He's Vice President for Business Banking at Bank of America and Merrill Lynch.
Thank you for
good to have
having
you with us.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
So your first time here at Detroit Public Television, your first time in a television studio?
Actually, my second. The first time was I was a Cub Scout. So what, 8 or 9 years old?
I thought you were going to say 8 or 9 years ago.
Yeah. And so I think it was the Sagebrush Shorty Show, if you're from Detroit. And so
we did a program on the history of Detroit television, and it strikes me that you're a part of that.
A very small part.
Now here you are helping us to make history again,
Yes.
keeping public television going. Why are you giving up this evening of your life to come down here and answer phones?
Well, Bank of America encouraged us to do all kinds of volunteer activities. You know, some of those are Habitat for Humanity, Gleaners, and public TV is right up there with all those other, you know, venues.
So you saw the opportunity to come along to
Yes.
volunteer
Yes.
here, and you
Yep.
said, I'll do that?
I think this is a nice thing for us to be doing.
Is it a nice thing for you personally? Are you enjoying talking with our viewers on the phone?
Really, I talked with one 86-year-old woman for probably 15 minutes because she just needed to talk. And so we got a nice pledge.
Yes,
Yes,
there we
we got
go.
a nice pledge, and we gave her a nice gift. And so I think everybody was happy.
Yeah, that's right. How about you? Are you happy with the programming on Detroit Public TV?
Yes, I can't even remember a time when I wasn't a public TV watcher, and so because of the time that I come from, you know, the Britt Floyds, the Eric Claptons, the Peter, Paul, and Marys, those are all things that I enjoy a great deal.
Well, thank you for coming in and answering phones tonight, John. And we want to keep John and all the volunteers busy, so make the call right now. Thanks.
Well, thank you.
And of course, to remind you just what an integral part of history were Peter, Paul, and Mary. A lot of talk recently about the march, Selma, Alabama, Dr. Martin Luther King. And inside the book, when we ask you for your support, the $180 giving level and above, there it is, the real march on the bridge. And the trio, of course, joined Martin Luther King, Coretta Scott King there in this book. And making that connection to, well, a piece of history, something that had made a meaningful impact, a meaningful difference in the lives of all of us and here in this country, and they were certainly a part of that. And when you think about what were you doing March 21st, 1965, when that news was coming, and what has your road or your life been since then? Who are the people that were with you in your life that maybe are no longer there? Making a connection with public television is your link to the past. It doesn't bring those years and memories and things back to life, but it's the closest thing we know to connecting with our own living history. And it's sort of up to us to preserve that with television. You know, television is a medium that hasn't been around all that long, 60 years, maybe 70, and we're using it in the very best way we know how here at PBS and Public TV. Join us in that pursuit. Join us with Bank of America, Merrill Lynch, U.S. Trust, as they sponsor this endeavor tonight. Make your contribution of support. Make a difference in this community. You really can do it when you pledge right now.
Each pledge that's coming in on the phones is telling us that this is something that you appreciate of public television and that you encourage us to do more. And I think that you've seen how we've responded to that through the years. It's the programs that you support that we go out and we say, well, then what else could we do along those lines? This is something that the public really cares about, and what else can we do to help? You say the same thing when we focus on Detroit and the stories of telling Detroit's stories. We were talking about the history of Detroit television. We just did one on the famous brands of Detroit. And of course, the history of Detroit and its communities. We have a program about the Armenian community that's coming up, programs about the African American community, the Jewish community, the Italian Americans. We are a place that does things differently from what you see elsewhere on the dial. That's why public television has survived all these years, despite all the thought that it was going to be made unnecessary by the plethora of channels out there. There's a plethora of channels, but there's only one Detroit Public Television. And the way we are able to keep to our mission, keep to our values, is because of viewer support like yours. Viewer support, important corporate support from Bank of America and Merrill Lynch, foundation support, the Kresge Foundation, the Kellogg Foundation, some of the other foundations that have supported us through the years, and some of the family foundations as well. We thank each and every one of them that recognize the importance. Our Smith Leadership Circle, donors at the $10,000 level and up, who are giving us the wherewithal to actually go out and create programming that looks ahead, programming in the future in categories of arts and culture, and children and education, environment and energy, leadership and public affairs, and health and wellness. This is what you make possible with your contributions. Whatever level is right for you, now is the time to call.